What it is, guys, my name is Swifterrs, and today I'm going to be doing my best to explain the entire Black Ops 3 zombie storyline. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments on my recent videos asking me to do this before Revelations comes out, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in today's video. Now, I did upload a video a couple of months ago explaining the entire Call of Duty zombie storyline, beginning in World at War, leading up to Black Ops 3. The link to that video is in the description below. As I said, today's video is consisting of the entire Black Ops 3 zombie storyline. I'm going to explain it to the best of my ability. I apologize if I do get a couple of things wrong. Overall, I hope you guys are going to enjoy today's video, and with that being said, let's get into it.
We'll fight side by side, back to back, even if it's for the last time.
So our story begins back on Origins. Within this cutscene, we can clearly see Samantha Maxis and a young Edward Richtofen playing with toys inside of Samantha Maxis' room. At this point in time, we assumed the zombie storyline to be a complete fabrication, a figment of our children's imagination, a child's game. Within this cutscene, a loud siren can be heard.
Make sure the windows are locked before you come down to the basement.
We now know from the Revelations prologue that when the siren is heard, it means that someone is teleporting to the house.
But things started to go wrong soon after you arrived.
So, the child version of Edward Richtofen and Samantha Maxis hear this siren. They know that someone is arriving at the house. This person just so happened to be the 2.0 version of Edward Richtofen. Now, upon Edward's arrival, him and Maxis talk. At the request of Maxis, Richtofen is informed that he needs to seek out the Chronorium. We know this from a Gorod Krovi cipher. Reality or dream, it is becoming harder and harder to tell. He came to me again last night while I was on my nightly walk through the countryside. He told me about the location of a book called the Chronorium, said that Richtofen needs to acquire it if we are going to set things right. The book contains the location of a device called the summoning key. I will contact Richtofen in the morning. So Richtofen seeks out on his journey to acquire the knowledge of the Chronorium. He finds the location of the summoning key and he traces it to the Shadows of Evil realm. He goes there and then acquires it, however he doesn't know that the Shadow Man is trapped inside. After getting the summoning key, he returns back to the house and Maxis informs him that he now needs to acquire the souls of the 1.0 characters. He uses the MTD in the basement of the house to travel to the Giant, which is why he meets up with our 2.0 characters here. After the events of Origins, Takio, Nikolai, and Dempsey made their way to the Giant. However, Richtofen acquired the knowledge of the Chronorium and the summoning key, went back to the house, and used the MTD to meet them on the Giant. Richtofen then kills his 1.0 self, but he doesn't put his soul inside of the summoning key because, as Dr. Monty later says at the end of the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, Richtofen has already been in the house for ages. After the events of the Giant, the crew travels to Werfen, Austria to the Der Eisendraht castle to acquire the soul of Dempsey 1.0. While they're here, they also send a gatekeeper to the moon to acquire the MPD. They eventually blow up the moon, which eliminates Dr. Grove and Dr. Schuster, erasing the future events of Moon. So after the events in Austria, our crew travels to a remote island located in Pohnpei. Here they unearth the Japanese Division 9 facility. They acquire knowledge of experiments on dragons by Group 935 and Group Division 9. While they're here, their main goal of course is to acquire the soul of Takio 1.0, which they successfully do. After acquiring the 1.0 soul, the crew then travels to an unknown location to set a chain of events in motion, and upon returning to Zetsubonoshima, all characters have blood vials. At this point in time, the reason why our characters have the blood vials is still unknown.
3 down, 1 to go. Guess it's you next, Nikolai.
Nein, there is something else we must do. There is a chain of events that must be set in motion.
After the events at the Division 9 facility, our crew then travels to Stalingrad, Russia. Of course, their main goal is to acquire the 1.0 soul of Nikolai Belinsky. While they're here, the crew is instructed by Sophia to activate Ascension Protocol, ultimately resulting in eliminating Dr. Gersh and freeing Sophia. Our crew also learns of the Great Battle. This is through a cipher on Gorod Krovi from a Mexican test subject known as Pablo Marinez. Our test subject dates back to World at War, and we can even see pictures of Pablo Marinez on the Der Eisendraht castle, his spleen laying on the table. In this cipher, Pablo speaks of his lucid dreams where he is a warrior in the Great Battle. He's about to be consumed by the giant beast when all of a sudden, 4 members wielding ultimate staffs wearing tunics appear. What Pablo is describing is our Primus crew arriving to defeat the beasts at the Great Battle. The Great Battle, of course, is displayed in the Pack-a-Punch room of Shadows of Evil. So of course, our crew then acquires the soul of Nikolai 1.0 within the summoning key. After doing so, Richtofen sends the souls of Nikolai, Takio, and Dempsey 1.0 up to the house. As I said before, his soul is not sent up to the house, as we learn from Dr. Monty, because Richtofen's soul is already in the house because he's been there for ages. So the reason why our characters needed to acquire the 1.0 souls and send them to the house is because our children are the souls of the 1.0 characters. We can clearly see Eddie, Samantha, Nikolai, Takio, and Dempsey playing in Samantha's room. This of course is the same room that we saw so long ago in the Origins Easter egg ending cutscene. So again, our characters, our crew, are the children. So just to recap, at this point in time, our 1.0 characters' souls have been sent up to the house. They are now children, the children are in the house, the children are safe. Our 2.0 characters then travel to the house, and our children who are already here hear the siren signifying the arrival of someone new into the house.
But things started to go wrong soon after you arrived. Now, I can understand your initial shock coming face to face with Maxis, especially after so long. But you did the right thing. You followed the plan. You brought the summoning key here.
So, our 2.0 characters finally arrive at the house. Richtofen has followed the plan, he sought out the summoning key, he acquired the 1.0 souls, sent them to the house. Here, he presents Maxis with the summoning key, and Maxis is mesmerized by it. Now, Monty explains that there must have been an initial shock when we first saw Maxis because we hadn't seen him in so many years. By going through time and going through all of these different dimensions, it definitely changed time itself, it altered future events, which is why Maxis looks so different compared to his Origins picture that we saw over 3 years ago, and which is why, although Richtofen had been to the house multiple times and was instructed by Maxis to complete these tasks of acquiring the Chronorium and the summoning key, Maxis and Richtofen hadn't seen each other for ages and for so long as a result of all of this interdimensional travel. Now, it's pretty apparent that the house in and of itself alters time, which is why Maxis looks so much younger. That's also why our characters are the children. They are their younger selves. Another very important thing to note is that Maxis doesn't have a soul inside of the house. He only has a brain up here. That's because at the end of the Origins Easter egg cutscene, we sent the Maxis drone up into the house, and that was only the brain. It was not Maxis' soul. This is very important, which we will see why in just a second. Now, truthfully, we really don't understand time in regard to our zombie storyline. It's very complex, but at the same time, it's apparent that time is altering Dr. Maxis. Dr. Maxis is confused about the world around him. He doesn't understand the physical body that he now inhabits. As I said, he doesn't have a soul within the house. He only has a brain. So it's very possible that as this time has progressed, we don't exactly know how long this time has been, but his brain could very well have taken on a new body. We're able to assume this from a radio back on Zetsuba no Shima.
The siren has not sounded in many months. I am confused by the changing world around me. I look at my hands, and they are not the hands I remember. The wrinkles, veins, and liver spots that textured my skin have disappeared, as though time itself was unraveling against its natural order. Is this the end, or a new beginning?
So once our characters get to the house, Maxis and Richtofen destroy the MTD so no one can travel through dimensions ever again, ensuring that no evil can plague this universe where the house is in. This was a huge safety measure. Now, with a little bit of knowledge from our zombie storyline in our back pocket, we go to a cipher back on the giant that says, "The Formless One will be their downfall." It's very possible that Dr. Maxis is in fact that Formless One because he doesn't have a soul, which is why the summoning key is pulling Maxis towards it. Maxis has no control of his own body, which is why he eventually releases the Shadow Man into this universe. Now, we don't exactly know if Maxis is dead at this point, but what we do know is that Maxis has released the Shadow Man into this once pure universe. The Shadow Man is now going to corrupt it, so that is why Maxis can be the Formless One. He doesn't have a soul, and he now has released the Shadow Man into this realm. Of course, the Shadow Man is now going to release the Apothecans, the zombies, and so much more within to this once pure dimension, this once pure universe, and it is now up to our 2.0 characters, our Origins crew, to defend the house from the Shadow Man, the zombies, the Apothecans, and whatever evil is trying to get inside of the house to corrupt and destroy the children. Now, it's apparent from our Revelations prologue that the Shadow Man could very well be the god of the Apothecans. Now, we don't exactly know how Element 115 came to be within our universe, but what we do know is that the Apothecans are shooting that Element 115 into the multiple dimensions across our universe. Again, we can clearly see this happening right now. The Apothecans are shooting Element 115 into this universe, and it is now up to our Origins crew, our 2.0 characters, to defend the house, defend the children from the Apothecans, the zombies, and all things evil that are now in this universe. This could very well be our Primus crew. It is at this point in time where our characters defend the house, they undergo the great battle as described by Pablo Marinez on a Gorod Krovi cipher, the great battle as depicted in the Pack-a-Punch room of Shadows of Evil. It is very possible that this could be that defining moment if the Shadows of Evil prophecy, the Shadows of Evil cipher that reads, Primus will fail. If Primus does in fact fail, then all evil will enter the house. All evil will enter the only pure place left throughout all dimensions. Evil will corrupt the children. Evil will cause them to lose their innocence. However, if they defy the prophecy and Primus doesn't fail, then all evil will diminish across all universes. Guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. I did the best I possibly could to explain the Black Ops 3 zombie storyline to the best of my ability and the best of my knowledge. I hope you guys found today's video informational and enjoyable. If it cleared up a couple of things regarding the zombie storyline, please be sure to leave a like down on today's video. I did work very, very hard on it. If we're able to get 1,115 likes on this this video, that would be absolutely insane. As I said, if I happen to miss anything, let me know in the comment section below. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new. With all of that being said, I'll be sure to catch you guys later.
Only I can save you.